Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. My name is Cody, and tonight, for the first time since the grand final preview, I'm here to give you my first video in the off-season. Tonight, I'm here to discuss what was the disappointing and shocking season of the South Sydney Rabbitohs 2024. Of course, I'm talking about my own team I follow for all my life, and just by starting off, this is the worst season I have ever watched the Rabbitohs in my long career being a South diehard South supporter. This is our worst finish we've had since 2008, finishing 14th, and go back to 2006. That was even worse. Last time we had the wooden spoon and finishing 15th before Gold Coast Titans came in. And matter of fact, if the Dolphins had not come into the comp in 2023, we would have finished dead last if this was still a 16 team competition rather than 17. If Dolphins were not in this time, but luckily, I guess for the Dolphins, we didn't get the spoon this year. We were only 2 points off getting the spoon, and the team that finished below us was the West Tigers, who actually got a few more wins to finish the season, and they should have beat Parramatta in the last round, but they lost that game, and yep, we got 16th because of Parramatta. They got 15th because of points for and against. But anyways, before we get into the video, guys, if you guys are new around here, it would be kindly, and it would be kind if you guys do subscribe to the channel. If you guys are new around here, subscribing to the channel helps out and puts more effort into my videos, and it also helps the algorithm with new people to check out my channel. So if you guys can do that, that would be very delightful of you. And also, don't forget to like the video as well, guys, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss out when I post a new video. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into the Rabbitohs 2024 season review. And I'll just start off with what had happened this year contributes towards the end of last year. At the halfway point of 2023, we were on top of the ladder after round 11. We beat the Tigers. We won 20-0. We were 8 wins, 3 losses. First place since 2019. And it looks like we were going to make the finals and even finish in the top 4. Until shit started happening behind the scenes throughout the second half of the season. Sam Burgess, one of our assistant coaches, left the club to go join Warrington and coach them for the next few years. And then we get to present day, 2024. We lose our first 9 of 11 games, or 9 of 10 games rather. 1 win, 9 losses. By the time we lose to Melbourne, Jason Demetrio is gone, and Ben Hornby takes over as the interim coach for the rest of 2024. We were also a very affected, injury-told team this year. I think we had more injuries than any other team this year. I know you can't say injuries affect the team. They do. Every team gets injuries and it affects them in a way, but that injuries are no excuse, and it is a little bit to contribute to what we did this year. I mean, by round 10, we had most of our starting 17 out due to suspension or injury. I'll go through some notable ones. Campbell Graham, still that sternum injury he suffered last year against the Broncos. Didn't play a single game this year. Even after surgery, it got worse. Isaiah Tass, one of our better players in the back line, went down with an ankle surgery, which missed him out for the rest of the season. AJ went out with a hamstring, then Achilles tendon injury after the Raiders game, which that's not good, but all the best to him. Latrell Mitchell went down, suspension after a high tackle on Sean Johnson, and then he gets injured in round 18 against the Eels, a foot injury, and then he does some illegal stuff outside the field, which I'm already 100% know what's happening with that. I'm not going to get into that, but yes, you could say that injuries really took an effect on our team this year, and I will agree with that. but injuries are no excuse. But we just had a poor season. Not a good season overall, but hopefully 2025 can put 2024 behind, and we can hopefully make back the top 8. But before we get into that stuff, I was just going to go through a few things that happened throughout 2024, what our win-loss was, and of course our top points and try scorer, which I'll get into that now. So we finished 16 out of 17 teams this year in 2024. We had a total of 7 wins, 17 losses. We scored 494 points, which was the 13th best out of 17. And points against, we conceded a total of 682 points, which was the second worst in the league. Of course, the Tigers are ahead with 707 points. Our top point scorer this year was Latrell Mitchell with 98 points. And our top try scorer was Jacob Gagai with 9 tries. So that really shows you how disciplined our season was this year compared to recent years where we made the finals between 2018 and 2022. Also, our home and away record wasn't really that good either. Our home record this year was 5 wins, 7 losses. And our away record was even worse with 2 wins, 10 losses. And of course, we had lost our last 5 games. In reality, we had lost our last 7 games remaining of the regular season, dating back to round 21. And our last win of the year was against the West Tigers back in round 20. So, not really good signs there for the Rabbits after they had picked up a winning streak throughout the Origin period. So, before we get into the signings and shit, I'm just going to go through the season. I'll go round by round who we played, the score, and if we win or lost. So, we go back to round 1. We make history for the first time ever. NRL teams head to the United States for the regular season in round 1. Manly, Roosters, Broncos, and Rabbitohs are the first 4 teams to ever play a rugby league game in the regular season in the United States in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium, which will continue for the next 4 years. And we kicked off the season, of course. And in that game, unfortunately, we suffered our first of 3 losses in a row. We lost to Manly 36-24. Then we travelled to Brisbane for round 2, 28-18. We lost to the Broncos. And then the round 3, oh boy, our worst loss of the year to our arch rivals. We got demolished at Allianz 48-6. And then in comes to our annual Good Friday game against the Dogs. We beat them for our first win of the season, 20 points to 16, in our first home game of the season as well. And then we go on to lose our next 6 games in a row between rounds 5 and 11. Round 5, lost to the Warriors 34-4. Round 6, we lost to the Sharks in a high-scoring game 34-22. First bye of the season, round 7. And now round 8, where Jason Demetrio was officially sacked after the conclusion of the Storm Rabbits game. We lost 54-20 in what was our only game we conceded 50 or more points this year. 54-20 we lost, of course. Back to Accor Stadium in round 9. We lost to the Panthers 42-12 after leading 12-0. And we go to round 10. We play the Dragons. We lost 28-14. Then we go to Magic Round. We were really close to winning this one, coming back just a fall short to the Cowboys, 28-22. Round 12, Indigenous round, we finally pick up our steam as we go on to win. We go on to win our next 5 games in a row and potentially turn our season around, which in the end it didn't, but it gave us hope at least. Starting off in round 12 against the Eels, 42-26. We won. Round 13, our first bye, and then we head into Origin around this time as well. In round 14, we demolished the Titans, 46 points to 12, and that was also our biggest win of the season as well, winning by 34 points. Then we go back-to-back home games in rounds 15 and 16. Round 15, we played the Broncos, beating them quite good, 22-12. I think that was probably our best. That was our best start we had to a game this year. We go out 22-0 and we go on to win, 22-12. And then we hold Manly scoreless, 14-0, in which I wouldn't think we will hold a team scoreless this year, despite how we played. But this was also Origin affected game, and shockingly, we didn't get held scoreless this year. And round 17 was our last and third and final bye. Round 18 is the end of our 5-game winning streak. We're beating the Eels once again, this time at CommBank 32-16. And our winning streak comes to an end. We lose to the Dolphins 36-28 in a high-scoring game at KO Stadium. The goal kicking's really stuffed up that game for us, but I don't know, still a good game. And we pick up where we left off. We beat the West Tigers in a high-scoring game up here at Gosford. We won 42-28, which was our last and final win of 2024. Now, with Origin done, we got our last remaining 7 games, and we're going to lose our next 7 games, or remaining 7 games of the season. We lose to the Raiders in Canberra, 32-12. Lose to the Sharks at PointsBet, 20 points to 6. Lose to the Storm, 28-16. Losing to the Tigers at Campbelltown, in which we had never played the Tigers. I will still say this about the Tigers Rabbits game from round 24. I won't say we were hard done. I wouldn't say we were robbed, but we were hard done by a lot of those ridiculous ref calls. We lost 18-16. Then we lose to the Knights 36-16. Lose to the Panthers at Bluebet in our final game now for the next few seasons, 34-12. And then in round 27, in the send-off to 2 of our great players in Damien Cook and Thomas Burgess, we lost to the Roosters. Again, this time 36-28, coming back to score 3 late tries. We almost got there in the end, but our season was already done, over and dusted by then anyway. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes the season of 2024 for the Rabbitohs. So, not a good season really, but it's the worst season I've seen the boys in a very, very long time. In 18 years. Almost 2 decades. Just as old as I am, which I was born a few years beforehand. Alright, so now I'm just going to go through some of the notable losses that I didn't enjoy, and also some of the best wins, which there's not really much to say, but let's just get through it, I guess. So, start off with the losses, of course. So, obviously, rounds 3 and 5, they were really not good. We lost to our arch rivals, which that was our biggest losing margin, 48-6, lost by 42. Then, against the Warriors, a team who we usually dominate against, we lost 34-4 after scoring the first try. Now, you could say round 8 in Melbourne, but we always lose in Melbourne, with the occasional win here and there. Now, Penrith in round 9, we did lead 12-0, but after that, they came back to win. This was similar to the 2022 prelim final, in which we led 12-0 and they came back to win. And another loss, I will say, was against the Knights, I reckon. Now, I know, obviously, in that game, we weren't expected to win that one, but it should have been a closer game, at least. Knights, I mean, they only just made the top 8, pretty much, with that win. And let's get through some of the wins, to which I think were the best. So, we had a total of 7 wins. Round 4, I'll definitely say that was definitely one of our best games. Beating the Dogs on Good Friday, to which, at the time, we didn't know the Dogs were going to make the 8, in which they did. They finished 6, and we beat them on Good Friday, which, I mean, great turnout as well. Great atmosphere that game, but still great result, and Always enjoy Good Friday games, whether we win or lose. Now, our biggest win of the season came against the Titans, where we won 46-12. I'll also say, game against the Eels, 42-26. That was another enjoyable game. And another game, I think I'll give a mention, is the Broncos game. Now, at the time, in round 15, the Broncos were still in the 8. And they were falling from grace after they choked in the grand final last year. And I didn't expect Brisbane to finish where they were this year. But to go out 22-0 against the Broncos, or at least I think it was 22-0 before they scored 2 late tries. To go out 22-0 against the Broncos, which we don't have a good record against them, but better than against the Storm at least. Very, very impressive to go against Brisbane like that, especially who they made the grand final. So I'll definitely say that was another good game. Manly was a bit of a... Well, we won it at least, but it was a board fest of a game. And I'll give a wrap to the game up here at Gosford, which I attended, which I think that was my favourite game I went to outside of Sydney this year. Really enjoyed it. Tigers gave us a game for that one. They even took the lead, I think, twice in the game and gave us a worrying sign, but we got there in the end. We won 42-28. I know I'll say this year, I know that game, that defence was obviously out of the window, but what do you expect from like two bottom 4 teams? when you have two bottom 4 teams, and when they finish this year, defence is out the window. And same for the Eels game, back in round 12 as well. But pretty much, we had a shit season, and we conceded a total of 40 points or more, or rather 30 points. Out of all of our losses, 11 of the 17 losses, we conceded 30 points or more. 4 of those games were 40 points or more, and 1 game was 54, which shows you how much defense was really a problem this year for the Rabbits. Not that good. Attack was better at least, but oh jeez, we really needed to work on our defense, and that's been one of the problems for the last few seasons for the Rabbitohs. See, we're a great attacking team on our day, but defense wise, not really. Defense is a really knack of a problem. And if I can only recall, the only time this year we held a team like less than 6 points was against Manly. Like holding them to 6 points or less. So that's not good. And back in round 16, not round 1, but I think you guys know what I mean. But jeez. So defense, it's been a major issue for the last few years. We just find ways for teams just to go through the middles, and especially like on our wings. Gagai, especially this year in the last few rounds. Oh jeez, he was out of position so many times going down that left side, and oh god, left or right side, it didn't matter. Oh golly, that's why he contributed to a lot of those tries against us, especially against the Knights and the Roosters. Now, I will give a wrap to a few players this year. It's not really much to say, but we'll get into our players in just a sec. Alright, so now I'm going to talk about what players stand out for 2024, for the Rabbits. Now, despite him being out for most of the year due to a collarbone injury, Tara Munro returned late in the season, or at the start of the year. Fortunately, he had suffered, and he also had he re-injured that same collarbone, which kept him out longer. So really unfortunate. But as soon as he came back from injury, he put on that jersey. He did a bang for job, and one of his great feats, and potentially one of his greatest moments in his short NRL career so far. And for his long career in the NRL, for how long he'll be in. In round 26, days before we played the Panthers in Penrith, Tyrone Munro's mother and uncle had passed away and took his own life, respectively. Unfortunately, when we first heard that his mother had passed away, it was very devastating to find out his uncle had died as well due to unforeseen stuff. That shocked him really badly. But obviously, to see Munro go play against a team like the Panthers and score not one but 2 tries, the only 2 tries for the Rabbitohs in that game as well, to go out to score a double is just magnificent and so much courage. When I was there at Penrith and I was applauding Munro after the game. My God, what a fucking champion he did in that game. His mum and uncle would be so proud of him. What a great, an emotional and amazing experience. Well, not really amazing, but you know what I mean. For Munro to go out in Penrith and to play like that. If someone else is in that situation, I don't think they wouldn't be playing. But congrats to Munro for what he did for that game. But what a moment in his young career so far, and a lot more spectacular moments to come in his long career in the NRL. Hopefully, Munro, if you're watching this, I hope you're going to be a lot more prouder and a lot more tougher in the 2025 season. Can't wait to see you out there in the squad when 2025 rolls around. Another game I'll give to is Jai Gray as well, filling in for Latrell Mitchell after he went down with suspension and then injury. Jai Gray was, I'll just say, he was magnificent this year. Pretty much our best player in most of the games, and contributed a lot in the games where we were getting demolished in that, and scoring so many tries as well. I think he scored like 7 or 8 tries. He even scored a double once this year as well, which is just excellent. I know, obviously, I love Jai Gray, and I've met him a few times this year, and he's such a wonderful bloke. Just like Munro, he's got I reckon he's got a long career in the NRL, no doubt. But obviously, he will not get chose first place fullback as over Latrell. But when it comes, if Latrell is down injured or playing for Origin or whatever or something else, he will fulfill that spot. And Jai Gray did what Latrell couldn't do this year: play like an actual fucking fullback. Latrell would just play. He would just play the ball. He would just pass it to a player, not get tackled, and he'll just run sideways instead of running forward. Jai Gray, despite his small stature, had the speed to go through the middle defense of the attacking of the defending opposition, and which had led him to getting a few tries and so many tries. But Jai Gray had an outstanding year for the Rabbitohs as well. And for what he did in New South Wales Cup as well, he played outstanding as well before he made his first grade debut. That's it. Excuse me. And one of our latest signings this year, Jack Whiten, starting his first game in round 3 against the Roosters after he had a few games suspended towards the end of last year and then started this year. Despite the season we had, Whiten was being consistent. He scored a couple tries this year as well, playing in between centre, wing, and also in the halves. And he can also play in the back row or at lock as well, which he did at his time with Canberra. But for what Jack Whiten did this year, really proud of him. He had a stellar year. I think he was better in the halves than in the centres, obviously. But as soon as Whiten went in the halves, about halfway through the season, him and Cody just clicked like that, and they did what they did and got a few wins out of it. But obviously, with next season now, Jack Whiten will be heading back to the centres because as we've got Lewis Dodd and Jermaine Humphreys, who we've gained from Manly and St Helens respectively, or the other way around, rather. But they'll be fighting it for the 7th spot, while Whiten will go back to the centres alongside Campbell Graham. And I will also mention Thomas Burgess. Now, obviously, Burgess is no longer with the Rabbitohs now. He had his last game against the Roosters, and despite Burgess being on the bench for most of the year, he had a stellar season off the bench. He came onto the game about like 20 minutes in, replacing David Malawi or Sean Kepi at times. And when he came onto the bench, he was coming like a fucking freight truck and pushing the players out of the way like he always does. And Thomas Burgess, for your services at the club, thank you very much. You will be missed. And as we said throughout this year, you are the last Burgess. But now I'll get through the signings we gained and lost this year. So I'll start with the losses. So these are the players confirmed on the NRL website we lost to other clubs. Hamai Saleh to the Dragons, Blake Taft to the Bulldogs, Jed Cartwright to the Knights, Daniel Saluka Fafita to the Bulldogs, and Josiah Kapapini, which I don't think he's debuted yet, to the Broncos. And the only games we had this year was obviously Jack Whiten from the Raiders, our main one, and he had a stellar run at the Rabbitohs this year. And of course, Sean Kepi from Manly. He was, some games he wasn't good. He was terrible. He even got dropped to the New South Wales Cup a few times this year. But he was okay throughout the season. And as for next year, these NRL website has obviously needs to be updated. So our losses, we have lost more than 3 players, but they haven't been picked up by a club yet. These are the only players confirmed by the NRL website who have lost. And I will mention Dion Tapua has also he's been released and he hasn't been re-signed. Isaac Thompson is also gone from the club as well. And potentially Tane Mill as well. Could be gone. Just waiting to see where that goes for the next few weeks. And unfortunately, we have lost Dean Hawkins, who's gone to the Parramatta Eels. He was usually a backup half in case if Walker went down injured or Illies, which Dean Lachlan Illies went down with a nasty leg injury and kept him out for the rest of the year. He is progressing very well, which is really great to see. Damien Cook, a massive loss. Our main hooker, who we've had since 2016 or 17. Yes, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, Damien Cook, who'd been at the club since 2016 or 17, and now he's gone back to his junior club in the St George Illawarra Dragons. Initially, he had 1 more year to play next year, but now he's got a 2-year contract with the Dragons, which, in a way, it does suck, because Damien Cook's been one of the best hookers throughout the last decade we've had at the Rabbitohs. It was Isaac Luke and I guess Robbie Farah in a way. And Damien Cook carried that legacy and he fulfilled that spot. He even played New South Wales during Origin a few times as well at hooker. So thank you for your services, Damien Cook. We will miss you, mate. And good luck at the St George Illawarra Dragons for your remaining 2 years. Until then, till we meet again, whenever that will be next year. And of course, the main one, Thomas Burgess. The Burgess boys we've had between 2009 and 2024 for 16 long seasons, or 15 years rather. Thomas Burgess, the last remaining Burgess, heads back to the Super League and will play for Huddersfield. I think it's for a year or 2, I'm not sure, but he's gone back to the UK. So, no more Burgess brothers who we've had at the club since 2009 and 2024. So, Burgess and Cook, we will miss both of them. Unfortunately, can't keep all the players, but growing up with Burgess and that. He was such an amazing player, Burgess. I reckon between the twins, Tom was the better one. Would I say he's better than Sam? I don't know about that, but he was definitely up there alongside his other three brothers. And as for the games, Jermaine Humphreys, a young half, or in his mid-20s from Manly, he has made his NRL debut as well. Now, he'll be fighting over a spot between Lachlan Ilias and Lewis Dodd, which I'll get into in a second. And Ewan Aiken from the Dolphins. I know he's a bit old now, but he's got great leadership, great depth, and he plays very well. He just played from the Dolphins. Now he's come back to Sydney, play with us for the next 2 seasons. So Ewan Aiken, great experience. He'll bring that leadership. I think he may start in the back row, but I'm not sure. I think he'll probably start off the bench, but we'll see how we go. And also, they haven't got it on here, but we've also signed Josh Schuster for 1 year. Yes, the former Manly player who played back row and 5'8". We have signed him for a 1 year deal. I don't know how that's going to go. I think he'll probably start on the bench or New South Wales Cup. I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll see how it goes. And of course, from Sir Helens, who won the World Club Challenge for them for a field goal back in 2023 against Penrith in wet conditions, Lewis Dodd, a young half. I don't really watch Super League, but all I know is he's a half and could play 5'8" and halfback. I don't know if he could play any other position, but it's good to have a good half, and we'll see how he goes. And he'll make his NRL debut for the Rabbitohs, or his NRL debut and with the Rabbitohs as well. But we'll see how we go. And of course, the main one I haven't brought up yet, the best coach in the world, the premiership winning Wayne Bennett, comes back to the South Sydney Rabbitohs for the first time since 2021. He was at the Dolphins for 2023 and 2024. And Uncle Wayne comes back to the Rabbitohs to hopefully turn our season around. We had Bennett between 2019 and 2021 after falling out with Brisbane or whatever, and Seabolt went to Brisbane, and how that turned out. And what happened with Wayne Bennett? He gave us 3 straight preliminary finals, one of them resulting in a grand final, but we lost obviously in 2021, and now he's back for the next 3 years. Does that mean we'll be better? Who knows? Hopefully. I mean, with Wayne Bennett, you expect the team to play well. I mean, look what he did with Brisbane, the Dragons, and Newcastle. They all made it to a preliminary final or grand final and won, except for the Knights, of course. And unfortunately, with the Dolphins, Wayne didn't make the 8, or he almost did this year with the Dolphins, but he did a stellar job at the Dolphins to bring them up and see how the Dolphins will go under their new coach for next year. But we'll see how next year goes, and 2025 is looking to be a promising year with the 4 new signings we've got so far in Schuster, Ewan Aiken, Lewis Dodd, and Jamie Humphreys. But I do apologise for the length of the video, guys. I just had to write everything down and shit, and I just had to talk as much. But anyways, guys, this will wrap up my 2024 season review of the South Sydney Rabbitohs. I'm not going to do any other team because that would be too much effort. But anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new around here, and turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss out when a video gets posted or whenever I go live on YouTube. I will be posting more videos throughout the next few days and the next few weeks. There will be a few type of videos I'll be able to do, such as reacting to my 2024 ladder, and that's probably not going to go well. And a few other videos in between as well, but we'll see how we go. We'll see in the next few days. But anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Alright, anyways, have a good night. See you in the next one.